going to look at warrior two, pyramid position, revolved triangle. So for warrior two, we're going to take a wide stance on our mat. So we'll go ahead and step our feet out wide. We're going to begin with our toes pointing towards the long edge of our mat, and let's take our hands onto our hips. All right, now we're going to lift our right foot up, and we're going to turn our right toes to face the front of the room. Or excuse me, the front edge of the yoga mat. And now we're going to begin to bend our right knee. Okay, so we're going to keep our hips and our chest facing towards the long edge of our mat. We'll bend that right knee. We can look down at our right knee. We want to make sure it stays on top of our ankle. We don't want it to go over the ankle. We also don't want it to sway side to side. We want to keep it safely stacked right on top of the right ankle. Okay, so let's bring our hands back to our hips. Let's make sure that our ribs are stacked right on top of our hips. And then we want to take a little bit of a tuck of our tailbone and we'll draw our low belly in. Now let's take our arms and lift them up to shoulder level. And then the last thing that we do is we turn and we gaze and we look towards our right fingers. And then we hold and breathe right here in warrior two. So this is a powerful strength building posture, focusing on building strength and stability and support in the legs. All right, now let's straighten our right leg. We'll bring our arms down, and then we'll work on setting up the other side. Okay, so we'll take our toes and we'll pivot them so they face the long edge of our mat. We'll bring our hands onto our hips, and we're gonna take our left foot now. We'll pick up our left foot, and we're gonna turn our left toes so that they face the short edge of our mat. Okay, and now we're going to look at our left knee as we begin to bend it, making sure that the knee stays right on top of our ankle. Okay, then we'll bring our hands to our hips. We'll come and make sure that our chest and our hips are nice and open here, keeping our ribs on top of our hips and a little bit of a tuck of our tailbone so that our pelvis stays in a neutral position. Now we're going to lift our arms up to shoulder level. We want to powerfully and dynamically reach through our arms. So our arms are strengthening here as well as the legs. And then let's turn our gaze and we'll look towards the left fingers. And then again, once we get into the shape, then we just want to settle into a place where we can just breathe. And just start to feel energy moving through the body in this particular position. Okay, now straighten the left leg and rise up, and then we'll drop our arms down, shorten our stance up a bit, and then we'll step our feet together and we'll arrive back in mountain position. Okay, so now we're going to take a look at pyramid position. And so for pyramid position, you may want to use some yoga blocks. If you don't have yoga blocks, you could also use some books, or you could even use the seat of a chair. Okay, so I'm going to use yoga blocks. So I've got two yoga blocks, and I'm going to set them on the right side of my mat. And now I'm going to put my right foot behind my blocks, and I'll step back about 3 to 4 feet with my left foot. And my left toes will be turned out at about a 45-degree angle from the body. Okay, now we're going to grab our hips and let's pull our right hip back and our left hip forward. Okay, so we're lining our body up over our right leg. We're just going to take a moment here as we stabilize the foundation of our postures. We're really going to plant our feet, we're going to energize our legs, and we're going to extend and lengthen the body up. Okay, so we're preparing to enter pyramid. And when we come into the position, we are working towards having our legs straight. However, if our hamstrings are tight, we may need to take a little bit of a bend in the knee, especially as we make that transition into the pose. The reason why we take a little bend in the knee is so that we can protect our back on those transitions in and out of the posture. Okay, so I'm going to take a little bend in my knee here. Then we're gonna, again, square the hips and shoulders. We're gonna stretch and lengthen up. Then we're going to tip our pelvis. And we're going to continue to stretch and lengthen out on top of the right leg. We'll take our hands, we're gonna slowly walk them down our leg, and then let's let our hands find their way to a block, or the seat of your chair, or some books. And then we're going to allow our chest to start to move towards the right knee. Okay, now when you're down here, you can start to experiment with maybe straightening the leg a bit, the right leg. And so eventually you could work towards having that leg straight. And you may work towards bringing the body down a little bit lower. It doesn't matter though, you just want to create a position that you can comfortably hold, and then just focus on relaxing and breathing in pyramid pose. Okay, so we're gonna get ready to come out of pyramid. Now when we come out, again, we want to protect our back on the movement out of the posture. So to do that, we're going to take a deeper bend in our right knee. We're going to keep our low belly engaged and our back flat as we start to walk our hands up the right leg, hinging from the hips, moving nice and slowly all the way back up. Then we're going to lift our left foot up, and we're going to step our left foot forward. We'll come back into mountain position. We're just going to take a few breaths here in mountain. Okay, now we'll get ready to do the other side. So let's slide our blocks over to the left side of our mat. Let's have our left foot a few inches behind the blocks, and we'll step back with our right foot. Okay, so we're going to hold on to our hips here. We want our hips to be pointing towards the front corners of our mat. Okay, again, we're going to plant our feet, we're going to stabilize our legs, and then let's create length in our spine. So we'll lift the spine up and out of the pelvis. Now as we get ready to come into pyramid, we might need to bend that front knee slightly so that we can take care of our back. So for today, I'm going to bend my left knee, and I'm going to start to tip the pelvis. So let's tip our pelvis, and then we'll take our hands and we're going to walk our hands slowly down our leg, and then let's let our hands come to our blocks, the seat of the chair, or some books maybe. And then as we continue to breathe slowly, we'll start to let our chest sink in towards the right knee. Okay, and then we'll just relax here. And again, you can have this knee bent. So your front knee might look like this with a deeper bend in it, or it might look a little bit more straight. And then we are slowly, slowly letting our chest move towards the left knee. So whether the knee is bent or straight matters not. What matters is just finding a space where you can be still and just focus and really start to tune into the breath. Okay, so we're getting ready to come out of this now, and again, we're going to make very mindful and safe transitions out of the pose. So let's bend our left knee, and then we'll walk our hands slowly up our leg. We're going to keep our low belly pulled in, keep our back nice and flat as we slowly rise. Let's pick up our right foot, let's step forward. Let's take a moment and create mountain position, standing tall, planting our feet into our mat and lengthening up through the crown of the head. Okay, now we're going to get ready to come into revolved triangle. So this is a complicated pose. There's a lot happening here, so we're going to go through it really slowly. So we're going to have our stack of blocks on the left side of our mat. We're going to take our right foot forward, and we're going to have our toes lined up with about the back edge of our blocks. Then we'll step back with our left foot, and we're going to use a very similar stance that we just did for pyramid. Okay, so we square our hips and shoulders. We're going to stamp our feet, and we're going to create length in our spine. All right, now we're going to come down halfway. So let's start to tip the pelvis, and we'll slowly come halfway down, and we'll take our left hand, and we're going to plant our left hand on our stack of blocks. Now the line that we want here is we want our wrist to be lined up with our elbow, and our elbow to be lined up with the head of our shoulder. We're working towards having our legs straight, but if we need to take a little bend in that front knee, in the back knee too, we can take a little bend, okay? Either one. Now we're gonna bring our right hand and set it on our low back. Now let's lift our belly up and into our body and lengthen our spine. And then we're going to slowly begin to twist. So we're going to twist our body to the right. So we're going to start to twist to the right. We're going to draw our right shoulder back as we come into our twist. Now, your right hand can stay on your hip, or you could reach the right arm up to the ceiling. And this is revolved triangle. We're going to hold right here. So you should be feeling a pretty good stretch through your right hip. You're going to feel those hamstrings stretching, start to feel a nice twist through the torso and the spine. Okay, when we come out, let's bring our right hand down and put it on our low back. We're going to release the twist. Let's bend that front knee a little more, putting our hands on our legs as we walk our hands back up the legs, and then we'll lift our left foot up. We'll step back, arriving in mountain. Okay, now we'll set up pyramid on the other side. So let's take our blocks and let's slide them over to the right. So we're going to have our left foot forward. The left toes will line up with the edge of our block, and we're going to step back with our right foot. Okay, taking a moment to plant the feet, energize the legs, and then extend and lengthen the spine upward. Now right here, inhale, and now we're going to tip our pelvis. We're going to come halfway down. We'll take our right hand, and we're going to place it on our stack of blocks. Okay, remembering the line is our wrist lined up with our elbow, and our elbows lined up with the head of our shoulder. So let's take our left hand and place it on our low back. Now we're going to lift our belly up into the body, and as we plant our feet, we're going to create more length in our spine. And then we will slowly begin to twist our torso. And we're twisting our torso to the left. So we slowly twist, and we're going to start to pull that left shoulder back. Okay, you can keep your hand on your hip here, or you have the option to reach the left arm up to the ceiling. Now, your gaze can either look off to the side, you could look down, or you could also turn the gaze to look up to the ceiling. Just do whatever makes you feel the most comfortable, working these postures incrementally, just one step at a time. Okay, now when we come out, we're going to bend that left elbow, putting our hand on our low back. We're going to slowly release the twist. Let's bend the left knee. We'll put our hands on our legs, and we'll carefully rise back up, and we'll take our back foot forward as we come back into mountain.